Good morning, Lagos. It's time for us to take some business news in Business Express 981 with Rotus.
Hello, Ayo. Good morning to you.
How are you today?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Lagos and
Fantastic.
beyond. Good morning to everybody. Yes, indeed.
All right, now Rotus isn't alone. We have Wonola from Stanbic IBTC. Morning, Wonola.
Morning. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, you sound so chirpy.
We got energy. Well, Wanola Akambi is the head of head of financial institution sales for global markets at Stanbic IBTC.
Do you know you made me say Akambi?
Oh, is that what?
It's Akambi.
Oh, so see, Ayo is she helps me with pronunciations. Ayo, I cherish you. Thank you.
Right, so if you'd like to send us messages here on the show, you can do so on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981. On Twitter, it's at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag BusinessExpress981. And we are streaming live on YouTube. So please go onto YouTube and search for Smooth 98.1 FM.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, we'll get to this. There was a question I got from Laolu Sani on Twitter. She was asking about the Stanbic Dollar Fund. And I was like, hey, okay, I think you asked on Tuesday or so. And I was like, well, Stanbic will be here on Thursday. So we'll get into that since everybody's all nervous about possible devaluations and moving their funds into USD assets. But first of all, so describe what you do as the head of financial institution sales at Global Markets. I love that. I would love to walk into a bar and say that's what I do. I'm the head of financial institution sales for Global Markets. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, that just basically means I run the financial institutions business and segmented into local banks, like the Zenith, Access, and Co. Okay. And then I also manage the offshore business, so looking at foreign banks and foreign portfolio investors. And my major role is basically to sell global market products, update them on market news. So we have lots of products on FX, like FX sports, forwards, swaps. And on the interest rate side, we do T-bills, bonds, fixed income forwards. And on the structure side, we do cross-currency interest rate swaps, cross-currency repos, and access instruments into all the markets.
It sounds like you leave home at 10 p.m. every night with that entire portfolio to deal with. Okay, excellent. So you talk to foreign investors.
Correct.
Fantastic. See, we had such a fascinating conversation downstairs. We're gonna share that with you guys. Okay, so what's the mood been like with everything going around, the global market? So what's the temperature of the foreign investors you're talking to when you discuss Nigeria?
I mean, coincidentally, I was with the CBN governor last week in London. We are meeting with some foreign investors.
Okay.
And I mean, the purpose of that meeting was just to gauge the external shocks, like the trade war between the US and China, the currency devaluation by China, oil price going below 60, and the risk of a global recession.
The R word. Yes. The other R word is Rotus, but the deadly one is recession. Okay, so you were with the CBN governor.
Correct.
You were standing next to him as he's pitching to his foreign investors, saying, "Please, don't take your money out of Nigeria, or everything is okay." What was he saying?
Well, I mean, it was just more around. He actually wanted to know how they were thinking, and the major feedback was that Nigeria remains an oil trade. Really, of all those shocks that he mentioned, we are most vulnerable to the oil price below 60.
Right.
I mean, oil price going below 50 obviously will lead to major outflows. And if you do know that, I mean, the fixed income investors own a sizable amount of our foreign reserves, and we do estimate that to be close to around $15 billion.
You see that?
So I mean, it's very, very necessary for them to be confident that there are no capital controls. When they're about to leave, they can do their business freely. And then obviously what they then need to do is just watch the indicators. So our reserves are still robust around $44 billion.
But you want to carve out that 15 billion that belongs to them, Abi? Is that how to think about it properly?
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of that will still be sticky money.
Okay.
15 won't just leave just like
all
that.
At once.
Yeah, all at once. But I mean, it just still. I mean, remains that they would be watching the reserves. But any major outflows in the reserves obviously would lead to a bit of panic. So they just want to know, how the CBN governor is thinking. Is the exchange rate going to remain stable? What are the red line triggers like? So it was just both governor and investors just rubbing minds to say, okay, this is what we think. This is how we think this will play out.
Okay, and I try to, I don't know, when doing, doing a pitch or in discussions like this, I try to look at people's faces and read body language. And how did you see when he was, talking to them? Were you able to read anything from their facial expressions or anything? How I'm afraid that they're just gonna pull out all their money. But what do you? How did you see? What was the temperature in the room? With the back and forth? You think they felt confident with what's going on in Nigeria, or?
Well, like I'll still reiterate. I mean, as long as oil remains above 50, they'll still be confident because they do know that Nigeria has enough reserves to cater for that outflow.
Okay.
However, they just want to be assured that there are no capital controls.
So you will not hold our money if we want to go.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So if you look at yields generally are trended lower like 3 weeks ago. And I mean, they look at Nigeria, they don't look at Nigeria in isolation, they look at Nigeria across all markets, And
that's so key.
Our major competition is Egypt.
Well, no, please say that again. Our major competition is who?
Egypt.
Yeah. The same Egypt that took IMF money. The same Egypt that floated their currency. Just so that I know there are some people who battle me on WhatsApp every day.
But we have peculiarities in Nigeria.
Right,
so we can't always just look at Egypt and say we'll adopt all that framework.
Right.
However, I mean, if our yields are way lower than Egypt, then it incentivizes profit taking. So we did see massive sell-offs, about 2 weeks, and it flowed into last week as well.
Okay.
And it was also heightened by what was happening in Argentina. So we just had that general risk reduction across emerging markets.
So they got spooked by what happened in Argentina and the way they looked. So I used to think they looked at us only in isolation because giant of Africa and everything. But you're saying, and this is why we have guests like Wanola to come and educate us on how this works. So we're looked at as a block. Correct. Essentially with other emerging markets.
Correct.
And so if there's wahala somewhere else, they might say, okay, I don't want trouble.
So
and
it has an impact.
It has an impact. They'll move their money around.
So one key thing is that it's leveraged money, and that's why I call it hot money. So once there's any problem anywhere, so there's just a general risk reduction, global risk leveraging across those markets.
Interesting stuff.
Okay, so according to Yinka Rotus, you're inching closer to Aso Rock. I mean, having conversations with Wanola, who is chilling with the CBN governor. Ogbenga coming here says, good morning. According to a report in the Punch today, power tariffs are going to go up in the next 2 years, and it will be cost reflective. What do you think?
Yes, Benga, good point. Okay, I do want to address this dollar fund real quick, but I mean, Wanola, of course, that's not Wanola's section, but off the top of your head, I mean, we've been complaining since that, well, not us, but the discos have been, Benga, thanks for your question. The discos have been complaining that, look, we're not, the tariffs aren't cost reflective. It looks like they finally seem to be inching towards their, and they're saying it's not going to take place until, 2 years now. So I think isn't it July of 2020, Bing? I think it's actually next year, July. But what do you think? They have to do something, right?
Yeah, I agree. We definitely have to do something. I mean, we do know that the power sector is subsidized, and that's why we're not able to attract the right investment. However, in the short term, that definitely is going to lead to a higher cost of production. And if you look at the consumer, it's not like they're earning more, and they're going to be, paying more bills. So their purchasing power will also reduce. And how do you then support growth?
Right.
But I think in the long term, we'll be better off because you then attract the right investment in the power sector, and that would then boost production and boost growth.
And then inflation is another thing to look at as well. Inflation will probably get be affected by that.
All right. Yeah. But there's a comment here from Twitter. Aitayo Quadri says the CBN governor needs to learn the skill on how to be able to tell the federal government the hard truth and the required difficult steps to get this economy back on track. Everything is going south currently.
Aitola is a pessimist, but he does have a point. All right, really quickly, the question I got on Twitter, Wanola, if you can quickly help us out. Again, been telling people, perhaps move some naira into dollars in case there's a devaluation, this and that and this. The Stanbic Dollar Fund, I was asked about it by Alaolu on Twitter, and I was saying, look, when you're looking to invest in a USD fund, the first question you want to ask is, okay, how has the fund performed? I think this fund was launched in 2017?
Yeah, January.
January 20. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it launched at $1 per unit. It's currently trading at around $1.1385.
Okay.
So so if you look at the return over the years, they did pay out dividend of about 6 cents in 2017.
Okay.
And 2.9 cents in 2018. So if you look at the return since inception, it's around 22.75.
Okay.
On the fund.
And I would expect that because since I don't like Trump, but since Trump came in, the U.S. markets has been, I think it's returned about 25%. 25%. So I would expect that the fund will be returning in those double digits. Okay, the fund, another question I always tell folks to ask before investing in any one of these funds is to ask what the fund is invested in, its portfolio. And so I think it's, from what I read, minimum of 75% in USD fixed income securities, 25% maximum in short-term USD investments, and a maximum of 10% in USD equities. The short-term USD investments, what are those? Money market funds?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically USD fixed deposits, and we do have USD commercial paper and some other short-term notes.
Okay,
basically.
cool. Okay, and then finally, if you've already given us an indication of what's been going on around the world when things get a little dicey around the world, does the fund make adjustments, as far as shifting here and there with what's in the portfolio when Trump starts putting trouble on Twitter and stuff like that?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, they do. So what they do as well is just to read the market news and understand what's happening in the US. So for instance, if the Fed is cutting rates, what they then do is proactively go into all those bonds before the rate adjustment affects the returns, or if there is an oil price reduction, they look at the securities that are most vulnerable to oil price, and then they exit those securities into less riskier ones.
Cool.
So they do make those tactical approaches.
Excellent. So guys, I mean, again, if you're looking to invest in any particular USD fund, those are the key questions. How has the fund performed? What is the fund invested in? And do you make adjustments when things are moving around the global market? So Wonola, thank you for that.
All right, so we have a little over a minute, so let me take some comments.
All right, cool.
So Yinka wants to know your thoughts on the new ministerial list. He's not very confident about the choices. And then it asks about the federal, duplication. We have NEMA and now a federal ministry for natural disasters has been created.
Again, Wonola, so what do you think? What do you think of the new? I know Fashola, they took away power from him, right? He just works on housing. I'll have a new person in power. What's your thoughts on the ministerial list? I mean,
I quite agree. No real surprises there, right? But I would touch on the finance ministry.
Okay.
All right. I mean, they need to be. They are more concerned around reducing the debt to service ratio.
Right.
So I think they'll be switching into more Eurobonds and trying to reduce cost of borrowing for the government. The other thing is probably they'll focus on increasing revenue. And they did speak around increasing the VAT from by 50% from 5% to 7.5%.
Right.
Another thing that is very interesting to me is how the new Minister for Trade and Investment will perform, because that's very key. I mean, we do know that ease of doing business is essential in Nigeria to attract the right kind of investors. The right kind of investor we need to be attracting are the foreign direct investors.
Right.
So we need that to get working. That's Adebayo. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent, but just to let you know, we have questions that you'd need to
come back on tomorrow. Okay, no problem.
But I had to give this last one. Akombi Ademilekon is saying, "Hey brother, nice job. I'm listening from Canada."
Hey, that's what everybody wants to run to. To Canada. Mr. Wonola Akombi, yes. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll just leave the name to you. Head of Financial Institutions Sales at Global Markets Stanbic IPC. Thank you so much for coming and
thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
Have a lovely day.
You too.
Mr. Akombi. And Lagos, we're still here, so please stay tuned.
Yeah, that went so fast.
The time flies.
Yeah.